ADOS. How y'all doing, fam? Follow me. Wait. You know who it is. I'm Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the mostest on the Friends of ADOS TV channel, bringing you those ADOS hot topics and making the case for reparations, making the case for the COVID stimulus demand, and today, making the case for Black America. Family. Y'all know I'm all in my feelings, as we all are, behind the execution of George Floyd. Family, I can't even watch the vid, but just the description of what transpired alone has me sleepless at night. I am so hot. I am so remorseful for that brother. What's up, New Jack Reloaded? Thank you so much for joining live. Follow on in. I'm going to get the watch party started. Start your watch parties. It's going to be lit today. What's up, Sydney Berry? Thank you for joining the live. Cyril Milliner, thank you for joining the live. Seneca, Skills Create Smith, thank you for joining the live. I pray that stops buffering. I'm a little concerned. I don't see myself yet on the watch party. Let me know in the chat if you can see and hear me. Jerry Lamartes, thank you for joining the live. Edward Adams, thank you for joining the live. I may have to go out and come back in, y'all. Let me see. Testing. Hold on. Still buffering, family. My apologies. Listen, if it continues to buffer, what's up, Antonia? ADOS New England in the house. Okay, y'all. If it continues to buffer, you guys need to come on over. What's up, Christopher Williams? Thank you for joining the live. Deborah McKnight. I appreciate y'all's love. Listen, if it continues to buffer in the watch party, come on over to Friends of ADOS TV to pick up the show, okay? I got to get this train moving. Thank you. They can hear me and see me over at the Friends of ADOS TV Facebook, okay? I see too much buffering going on right now with my watch party. I don't know what that's about, family. But we're going to get this show in. You know, the show must go on. So like I was saying, I am all in my feelings about Ahmaud Arbery, about Breonna Taylor, and about George Floyd. Family, this has fucked me all the way up. It really has. I can't look away. And I am sharing on my timeline, so no one is conveniently looking away. And today, what's up, Michael Jeffries? I love you too. I love you, Black and Strong. Thank you for joining the live, Timothy Oglesby, Kevin Mitchell, Pastor. I appreciate the love. Listen, I've got a guest today. We go way back in the gap. This Vicki Lewis, I see you, my love. We have been buddies for over 20 years out of the Bay Area, Sacramento. And she is very politically astute. She's had her own political talk show. And she's my guest today, family. And we are going to get into the state of Black America and this vote. She's got some perspective on it and what she believes we need to do where this vote is concerned. And we need to hear from her. And I want you guys to be very active in the chat. You know how we do. Yeah, you are my co-host. Introducing Miss Heidi Guyton. Oh, there's my love, my sister. How you doing, sweetie? Hold on, I forgot to unmute you.
Oh,
There we
what's
go.
up, people? This is Heidi. I'm in Sacramento, California, but I'm coming to you from Berkeley, where I grew
Oh,
up and was born and raised. And I have that Berkeley militant Black Panther blood running through my body deep. And although I'm now a transplant in Sacramento, where things are very conservative and not so militant in the Black community, other than a lot of gangbanging, I've been feeling a little bit lost and disconnected from my people and what they feel about what's happening in America right now as we speak. I've always been from a spiritual point of view that at one point Black people are going to rise up and we are going to take our proper position in American society. And that will be the new world order. I feel like we're moving in that direction. We see pivotal changes taking place that are going to be permanent. First thing that we see happening is the pandemic and how it has been set upon us in such a sudden and catastrophic way. Nobody could have predicted that it was going to hurt Black community the way it has. But now that it has hurt us the way that it has, and has taken away a large part of the leadership that we look to move us through the civil rights movement to where we are today. Those leaders are now gone. They were close to being in retirement, not extinct, but their ideas were moving into, let's say, a restful place where they were really not applicable in today's society. However, they are now gone. So we cannot even look to that anymore for their strength and what they showed in the past 50 years. Now we have this new generation, this new Jack generation, who we are watching today on TV, and they're not playing no games. They are really, we got nothing to lose. This is our time to stand. We are going to take it, and no one is going to take that away from us, which is a lot different from the way we protested in my day in the 60s, where we were following Martin Luther King's nonviolent, stay out the way, but be a nuisance. These kids refuse to stay out of the way. They are going to be a nuisance in a very financially catastrophic way, as what we've seen so far. So, since they have taken this course of action, and now let me back up a little bit, because I'm not really convinced that these children are the ones who are causing this catastrophic financial devastation that we see. I do think that there are other fractions involved who are causing this to make a statement about their own movement. Antifa is one of them. And I mention them because the one of the major developers and founders of Antifa was a middle school teacher in Berkeley who had been teaching this crap basically to all of the students in the middle school in Berkeley, and had these children so twisted and not understanding exactly, these are Black children. These are children who were lost. They did not understand what they were supposed to be standing for. So basically, she brainwashed them with Bernie Sanders rhetoric about socialism and how what they needed to do was to basically stand up and support socialists and tear down capitalism.
wait,
So,
slow down. Can you explain to my audience what and who is Antifa?
okay, so Antifa, and forgive me because I can't think of the girl's name, but Antifa is basically a group of white, privileged young people who have developed this idea that Basically, they want the free ride. They want socialism. They want the wealth to be evenly distributed. And they're willing to destroy capitalism to get that done. So in Berkeley, what we saw was constant, over probably maybe 10-year period, the constant breaking of windows on Telegraph Avenue. And they did that to the point, it was this particular group. They did that to the point where all of the merchants on Telegraph Avenue near UC Berkeley moved. They basically put all of the viable businesses that were on that street out of business. They were not Black-owned businesses, but they were viable businesses like the Gap and different independent boutique stores. So their mission, and they've always done it undercover of being part of the Black civil rights movement. The same way we had our movement hijacked by other groups, they're doing the same thing. So a lot of what we see, if you notice in these protests, a lot of white children in the front of the protests when they come up face to face with the police against the barricades. In many of these cities, these are white kids. Why? Much of the damage that was done in California was done by the skateboarders who basically demolished the police cars with their skateboards and broke all of the store windows with their skateboards. Yes, after the fact, you did see Black kids going in there to vandalize the stores and to loot, but they didn't initially instigate that. This is a very undercover group, but we need to be aware of them. At the same time, we need to continue to uphold the young Black youth who are doing the right thing right now, because they have really set the stage for what could be a pivotal moment in this effort for us to get the police off of our sons, number one. So I'm a mother. I have a 22-year-old Black son who's getting ready to graduate Sac State. Thank God. But every day I lose sleep. I go to bed worried. I wake up early. I look for a text, and I'm always having that conversation with him about what? The same damn thing we all talk about. What are you going to do to make sure you're protected from the police, no matter what you're doing? Now, this boy has already been pulled over by the police 3 times. He has now lost his driver's license. Yeah, he lost his driver's license in February. He can't get the driver's license back unless we get the insurance for, of course, irresponsible drivers. So we can't afford that. So he can't drive, which meant he couldn't make it to his job. You know, it's the same old story. So now at this point in my life, I feel like I have to get more politically active. I didn't do it when he was young because I was afraid of the backlash that he would suffer because his mother was saying things in a city like Sacramento. Although I was very active in the school district and I did make quite a bit of disturbances at the school board meetings, I wasn't willing to go on air like this and talk about it. But now that I am, I need to know what everybody else out there is thinking and feeling in other states and other cities. What do you guys see from watching these protests on TV? Are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing? That there's 2 different groups that are protesting. Our children who are doing the right thing and are making a good effort at it. And then this side group of people who seem to be hijacking, once again, hijacking our movement just the way, and this is no offense toward anybody, but the same way that homosexuals and Jew-like people use the civil rights movement to further their advancement of their causes. These are white people, kids now, who are using the civil rights movement to further their causes. No offense to them. If they have a cause they want to further, amen to that. But we have got to do something to send the 2 messages. One message to Bernie Sanders, telling him, call off your militant side of your base. I got nothing against Bernie, but he needs to call off the militant side of his base because that's what this group is. Number 2, we need to send a message to the Democrat slave owners saying to them, we're done with you because you have done nothing but promised and promised and promised us and set us up to fail every single time, and we are done with you. What we need to start doing now is less focused on federal elections because we already know where that's headed. Trump is going to win. No matter how many people go out there and vote for some other candidate, Biden is never going to beat him. So right now, we really need to send them a message to say, you know what? We're not going to vote. We're not going to vote in federal elections. And you will lose because of that. For sure, you will lose because of that. But what we need to turn our energy on is local and state elections. Right now, we have 10 Black mayors. And although that's only a small percentage of the total Black mayors, that's a hell of a triumph. And I can't even remember how many Black governors, but both numbers are growing with every election. We need to focus on these people. We need to move all of the Black mayors into governorship, all of the Black governors into the Senate, into the Congress, and eventually to the executive office, because that's the only way we're going to make a permanent change for our children and our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and this is the moment to do it. This is an apocalyptic event. White folks don't know what the hell has hit them. First, they went through the pandemic. First, now they went through 40 million people unemployed. Now they don't even know where their next meal is going to go or if they're going to be homeless. Black people are, we got no hope. So like I'm saying, there's nothing they can do to us they haven't already done. Whether there is no hope for our children to find jobs, to start businesses, they're going to be behind all of these white people who have been laid off. They will be hired before our Black children will ever be hired. So what are we going to do really right now, 6 months before a major election, a short campaign that will be very hurtful to people who need to wake the fuck up and understand we ain't playing no more? Boycott the fucking vote. Send a message to everybody in the Black Congressional Congress and let them know, if you don't stand up right now, we will not turn out for you. Let all those Jews know we've been supporting you all this time. But if you don't stand up and say something right now for us and make something happen, we will not be there for you in November. And after that, I promise you, those motherfuckers are going to start waking up and listening. And if they don't, we got 4 more years where we can develop our own third-party candidates and start to develop some shit. But you know what? We don't need to win that presidential office because they ain't doing nothing for us no way. We need to win our state and our local offices. I will shut up now.
No, you don't have to shut up, but I want to get in Joelle Jones, who has run for office in Ohio, the state rep, Dayton, Ohio, where I'm from. She says, I have never witnessed such white privilege as I did during our protest against police murder. They are not concerned about us, but have their own binary agenda. I disagree with your last statement. We don't have enough I don't know what that out means, or unity to cause an interruption in the presidential election. All elections are important. You are tripping on that other stuff. I absolutely hate when we suggest drastic actions without data. My child has hope. And New Jack Reloaded says facts. Now, let's get into this. Let's get into this because it is really, I feel like we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Thank you, Deborah McKnight, for joining the live. Darlene Gitney for joining the live. Dakarius McLaren for joining the live. Trey Lincoln, what's up, fam? Thank you for joining the live. Vicki Lewis, I saw you earlier. Antonia Edwards, thank you guys, all of you, for being on the live. We, as the American descendants of chattel slavery, have demanded reparations and a Black agenda in exchange for our vote, because we understand that a lot of what we're suffering is due to the huge economic disparity between whites and Blacks. For example, New Jack Reloaded said he's in agreement with you, Heidi. Okay, he believes that we should not even deliver the vote at all. And I want to ask your opinion about this, because we all get that we're on the bottom in the country our ancestors built with their lives due to slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives. And out of $107 trillion, white folks share 100 trillion, black folks share 3 trillion, and of that 3 trillion, 90% of us share 700 billion with a B. And so all of this buying and spending power that folks are touting about is an absolute lie. We've got 100% of black folks, 10% are immigrant. I would venture to say they're benefiting from the 2.3 trillion. They've got the H-1 visas and all these things to come over into this country, get the Ivy League educations, and get hired in the $200,000 a year STEM jobs to leap right over us. And that is absolutely what is happening. So 90% of us, those who descend from chattel slavery, are the ones left behind when all the wealth is due to our ancestors' heinous chattel slavery, the worst of its kind in all the born free world. So we have been invoking or encouraging show up, vote Democratic down ballot strategy, because right now we are 12% of the population. We don't have enough in terms of numbers this election cycle to really make a difference. We don't even have the money in the Friends of ADOS Super PAC, which Marlon Aldridge and I founded a year ago, June, next month. It'll be a year. We don't even have enough money in there to help support our candidates on the local, state, and national levels. We've had about 20 candidates in the ADOS movement trying to move on every level of government. And we were outmoneyed and outmanned because we could not, without the money, we couldn't get them the ad campaigns they needed to be a real force to be reckoned with. We couldn't get them the platforms they needed to be a force to be reckoned with. And so Marlon Aldridge has been on the show, and he says we're not ready. He says we're not ready to show up and not vote. Like, as a group, we're too small to really make that big a difference, and not showing up could hurt us with 4 more years of Trump. His strategy is
anyway, Angela.
Huh?
We're gonna get that 4 years of Trump no matter what.
Okay, let me finish. Ain't nobody required to give us shit. Please unpack that, Joelle. I need for you to put that, because yes, they are required to give us. Reparations is a debt that is owed. This is not welfare or a handout. They absolutely have to give it to us because we don't make it without it. So unless you have some type of genius way to close the egregious racial wealth gap, on top of gentrification, on top of job discrimination, on top of environmental racism. Now, if somebody else has a plan better than reparations, I am open. But all I know is that debt is owed on the low end to the tune of 17 trillion. And the problem is right now we've got a CBC that's hell bent on studying our repair into perpetuity after blowing the dust off of a 30-year outdated reparations plan by John Conyers because of the push of the ADOS movement in this election cycle. That's the only reason why you hear anyone talking about even studying it. But it's a ploy to pander for the vote. They're not serious about getting it done. So, because 41%, okay, Jeffrey Cook says, who says not that true? Okay, that's not true. Okay, go ahead and tell me first of all, tell me how many members of the CBC have signed on to even study the reparations. Run me that data. Because what I'm not going to do is have people come into the conversation where they don't have the numbers to come up against what I'm telling you. I've done the research. I know the data. I've been studying this for some years now. So if you say it's not true, tell me what is Sheila Jackson Lee intending to do with that study? But reduce it from 17 trillion to 100 billion and share it with Black immigrants who came here in 1965 after the Black Immigration Act. They don't have blood nor bones buried in this country. And let me help you understand something. I love my Black immigrants, especially you allies, but your coming here was a choice. We were dragged over here in chains. So anywho, back to what I was saying. Get our own shit. Okay, get our own shit. How do you propose that we get our own shit, Joelle? Don't come to me with all this aspirationalism and bootstrapperism. I don't want to hear none of that. You tell me, outside of reparations, what is your agenda to close the egregious racial wealth gap when white folks share $100 trillion and we, 90% of us, share $700 billion? I don't want to hear y'all screaming up and down in the chat. I want you to make your points because I'm happy to read them, but don't tell me to get our own shit. Don't tell me that we have to continue to pull ourselves up by our bootless straps. That's not a solution between 700 billion and 100 trillion, just so you know. Anywho, like I was saying, so Heidi, and I'm getting to my question. Hi, Roberta. Hi, Timothy, Darrow, Dakarius, Rashawn. Okay. My point is this. We have been invoking a Democratic down ballot strategy because we simply aren't in a position to not show up. First of all, we got to show up even if we're going to be voting for the state people. Even if we're trying to vote for Congress, many of us still have to show up to the polls during the general to do that. So what we have asked is that people fill in American descendants of chattel slavery for the president and the vice president if between now and the election, they have not offered up reparations and a Black agenda. We've been on this for a year, so the Democrats can stop playing and acting as if we're not making demands. We've been making demands for years. They're just choosing to ignore us. And the only time they start to pay attention to us was when we upset Kamala Harris's poll numbers when she was running for office. So I've got two questions for you, and I'm going to take a breath. I want you to share with me, what do you think of a Democratic down ballot strategy, meaning ADOS write-in, if you can, or skip it, for the president and the VP, and deliver a Democratic Congress to protect the 41% of ADOS who rely on government assistance, although by design? That's my first question.
Mm-hmm. So, look, Angela, I have to be honest with you. I'm not down with reparations, and I'll tell you why. I'm a little older than you are, and my parents are a little older than your parents. And so I was raised in a household in militant Berkeley with the understanding that go and protest because you ain't about to take no white people's money. And I still believe that to this day. And I tell my son that same thing. Don't take that money because there's strings attached to it. And the minute you take it, you're committed and you're endowed to that Jew-like bullshit, whatever they want you to do. Don't take it. We don't need it. We do need not to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, but we need to stop being brainwashed and understand the Democrats don't have our best interests at heart, period. Okay? They continue to keep us ignorant, stuck in that, oh, we're going to give you this. We're going to give you these entitlements. We're going to give you that. We don't want that. What we want, equality, the ability for our children and ourselves to be in a society where we don't have to be attacked because of the color of our skin. We want basic stuff. The vote, holding that back will get us that basic stuff. We don't need a whole lot of money to promote people. We have all of the social network we need to communicate with each other to say, hey, your election's coming up. You need to be focusing on this woman. Vote on her. Vote for him. Whatever we need to do, there's a lot of free things we can do to promote candidates. But the one thing that we have got to stop doing is taking that Jewish money. Because same thing with the Pell Grant. I told my son, we can take the Pell Grant. You can get 4 years of education. But to do that, we're going to have to sign you up for the military. And because you Black, you're going to be first on the list when they start the draft because they've given you this. No money is free. It all has ties to it. Just like right now, okay, I'm going to switch it just a little bit. The new incentive package is let us give you a back to work bonus. Do you understand what that program is about? They want to give us $5,000 now as a loan, and we're going to pay it back before we start collecting any Social Security. So they're offering that to us because they already know Black people usually don't even live very long, not long enough to collect a whole lot of Social Security dollars. They do this, we won't be able to collect anything because our senior citizens they don't understand it. They'll be trying to pay back the $5,000 for whatever remaining 5 years they have of life before they can get a dime of Social Security. Every federal dollar comes with a trick tied to it. Don't take it. So that's the answer.
Okay, let me go to the comments here. Angela, I don't think they've actually studied what we're talking about. That's true. That's okay. She's still got her perspective. Lots of people have with the ADOS, but
reparations.
Yeah, but they still have an understanding of how they believe that. And first of all, the reparations and the Black agenda come with conditions, not the money. The money wasn't a condition for all the other groups. We'll be damned if they'll co-opt our reparations.
They come with conditions for the politically minded. But for our average Black citizens, they don't need no conditions. They're going to take the money because it's free money. So, and then what are they going to do with it after they get the money? Then what are they going to do with it? They don't have the proper financial guidance to invest it to make us stronger. Only very few of us have that. So what are our average African-American brothers and sisters going to do if they should get the reparations?
Probably live, get the best of health care, start their own schools, okay? Buy businesses. The majority of us.
Our average Black brother and sister gonna do that?
Well, no. maybe not all.
Not the average.
I don't know how many will, but what I know is that they're owed it. So it's
how many of them are going to go and buy a new car with that money? Or how many of them are going to take that money and invest it in their child's education?
Okay, see, that's none of my business. It's not my monkey. It's not my circus. I don't believe that those of us who are educated, who have good intentions with the money, should be denied the money because of some of them frivolously throwing it away. It happens with the lotto across all groups. So it doesn't become a condition to what I would do with it, to what you would do with it, okay? To what many of the people in my circle, in my tribe, in the ADOS movement that will do with it. So it's not my place to judge what is done with it, but it is my place as a descendant of chattel slavery to get my check. So once we push and make this happen, because we're not going anywhere. We're here like a steady drumbeat on this reparations issue. Those of you who are against it, I will just inbox me. I'll send you my P.O. box for your cut. That's how I feel about that. Okay. Joelle says, no down ballot position. We are not ready for that. I want reparations. When we get reparations, we will be required to leave the country, revoke American citizenship. Well, no, because we were here before the country.
This is my country. I built this country. My grandfather built this country. My great-grandparents. I ain't going no fucking where for no amount of money. Period. Okay. They don't go. Okay, we can make a deal where you emus go. I ain't going nowhere. This is my country.
Come on now. We are okay, Heidi. Wipe your screen. Wipe your camera. It's a little blurry for some reason. Okay. Oh yeah. If you could just, that's a little bit better. Maybe move in some more. No, you moving closer. You just, yeah. So we could be like more on an even level. That's much better. Thank you. Okay. Heidi is absolutely right. We've been here since before. They said the first Africans were here in the 1400s. I've not done enough research on that to know that history. I do know that Angela was one of the first slaves to come over here in chains to be a part of the chattel slavery. So we have been here since 1619. The country wasn't even formed until 1776. You will get no more American than Africans that were sold into chattel slavery and the ones that preceded us and the Indians. It doesn't get more American than that. They came in 1776. So this idea of revoking my American citizenship, because you cut me a check, No, that's never going to happen. Reparations is a debt that is owed. Nathan Dennis says reparations is a debt that is owed. Ain't no strings. It is owed. Vicki Lewis says that's not their money. That's our money. They owe us. They have paid reparations to all the other groups. Joelle says that Jew money is our money. Absolutely. Felina says reparations can be paid if we put the green back into the dollar. Since Abraham Lincoln wasn't killed by a banker, this is a little confusing. Let me see. I'm gonna try to work it out. Since Abraham Lincoln was killed by wasn't killed. I don't know what she said. Wasn't killed. Felina, try to clean that one up because it's not reading right to me. Since Abraham Lincoln wasn't killed by a banker for freeing slaves, he was killed because of the greenback and how he funded the war. Black freedom was used. And she's got she has a website that she's put in there for us to look up, greensformonetaryreform.org. Marcella Snell says, explain to me an independent voter status. Okay, I think I can take that over. And if I'm wrong, anyone can jump in. Independent voter means you're not with either party. You're not a Dem, you're not a Republican. To me, the independent voter is the new third party that everybody's been begging for. And the truth of the matter is, I do believe it's bigger than both parties. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but the independents are bigger than the Democrats and the Republicans alike, to my understanding. Nathan Dennis says that's where education is key. Shauna Kim said exactly, Angela. Thank you for being on Team Angela in my smart this time. Oliver Tanja says, look at the quality of lives of the Native American Indians. You're absolutely right. Look at the lives of the Native American Indians. Why? Well, let's start with the fact that they didn't get all that they were due, and the fact that they crapped on Black Seminole and Cherokee Indians and allowed white folks to buy our reparations. Those of us that descend from Cherokee and Seminole slavery, they allowed them to buy our reparations for $5. So they got a lot of white $5 Indians who've exploited and used every bit of the reparations they were due. And oh, by the way, they've got casinos and things. They've got reservations. They've got their own health system. They're independent of all this nonsense. So if they messed over their money, why should we be denied that because of what they did with theirs? No, I want my check to be addressed to Angela Jones to my house. Thank you very much. I don't need now one more program like affirmative action that they can give with one hand and then take away and grant to white women who largely benefit from affirmative action, and next to that, immigrants. We are on the bottom because of programs, okay? I don't need them to give me a job. Give me my ends and I can create my own business and hire my own people, okay? I don't want the money I'm owed. So I can't give a damn about what the Indians did with theirs. That's not my monkey and it's not my circus, okay? Heidi is tripping, Joelle. I'm gonna let you speak to that. Joelle, unpack how Heidi is tripping. Shauna Kim says, we're more politically educated now. That's true. Nathan says, that's their money. I don't know. Okay, yeah, Indian. That's the Indians' money, if you're saying that. Felina says, free education is a part of reparations. What are y'all talking about? Yes. Go to ADOS101.com where you will see an outline of the Black agenda for tangibles. Everybody kind of thinks it's just money, but that's just, a small part of it. There's a whole laundry list of things we're demanding from our government to make us whole. It's all couched under the reparations and Black agenda, ADOS101.com. Trey says, boomers will never change. Heidi, he must be talking about you.
You know what? I'm one of them hardcore militant boomers with a conservative edge, and you are absolutely right. I will never change. We keep taking all this free money they offering us, all these entitlements. We will never get out of that. We will never get out from under that knee on our neck unless we join together with each other and build our communities for Black people without begging for that Jewish money. You better stop. You better stop. That's the devil. That's the devil, Angela. You need to stop, all of you. That's the devil you talking about.
It is not like this is not welfare. This is not welfare. I'm not complaining the two. It's not welfare, sis. Okay, boomers will never change. Right, I'm with you on that. I love it. Listen here. I am a Gen Xer. Now, I born a boomer, but there is a truth to what he is saying. This boomer mindset is why, well, you're different because you're conservative. But a lot of boomers believe that we should just continue to vote lesser to evils. And I implore you.
They absolutely do. And I am not for that until we tell these damn plantation owner Democrats, we are no longer going to buy your way into these wealthy ass careers. We are done with you, and we will go without before we continue to pump support into you when you fail to support us. And until we do that, it's going to be more of the same. Same thing with your reparations. Or they're going to promise it to you to get your belt. They're going to promise it to you to get your vote. Are they going to do that? You know that, right? They're going to promise it to you. They're going to get your vote. And once again, you're going to be sitting there looking stupid because you done once again furthered their cause while you killed our cause to give what? A couple of free dollars. That's crazy. And then they're going to change the tax law on you. So you're going to have to pay 45% tax on that money. You need to stop. If you want to get a free, just stop. I'm sorry.
No, I don't agree with you. No, go for it. It's okay. Listen,
it's every piece of my fabric to think about running around here begging these Jews for some free damn money. I ain't doing it. We have begged them for long. We have relied on free money. We're going to rely on our own talents. When are we going to rely on our own talents? That's the only time it's going to awaken. We keep relying on white people to help us. It's time to stop that. Stop it.
Let me speak to that. With what money? Read my lips. With what money?
You know what?
Bootstrapperism and aspirationalism.
I'm just saying this. If Black women would stop spending so much money getting their hair done, their nails done, I'm sorry. It will take. We will be looking a mess. We will be looking worse than we looked in quarantine if we really get serious about uplifting this culture through our own financial strength. We will be walking around. Our hair will be looking like slaves. Our nails will be looking everything. When you decide to make that sacrifice, you will do it. And as a people, we will rise up. But as long as we keep looking for white folks and Jewish folks and whoever we can get to give us some handout, we ain't gonna never make it. We will forever be out here in these streets trying to get the Jew's knee off of our neck because we let him put it there. Every time we take his money, we let that Jewish man put his knee on our neck. And until we understand that, it's gonna keep happening. It'll happen with our children, with our grandchildren, until we teach each of them. Stand on your own. If you make $1, save 50 cents of every dollar you make and make a difference. That's how we gonna do it. And until we have the courage to do that, it ain't gonna happen. We still gonna be running around here chasing after white people. Oh, please let my son have an education. Oh, please, massa. That's what we doing. We still doing it.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. Please allow me to be out.
Heidi.
That's what we are doing.
Heidi, I got to talk to you. I got to talk to you. I got to talk to you because, you know, you wait. First of all, let's stop conflating the two. We are not the welfare kings and queens. I'll let you rant. You got to let me rant.
I'm gonna let you.
Because your conservatism is what's killing us. Let me explain. How in the hell are we going to be built on a foundation of capitalism? And every time these Europeans decide that they want to try some newfangled stuff with the markets, they create something new for socialism. They are the biggest welfare kings and queens on the planet. It's capitalism for when they're doing well, and then it's socialism when they tank the economy, and then it's bootstrapperism and self-individualism for us. You have no idea what you are talking about.
Let me finish.
Let me finish.
Another thing. That bailout we just got.
Listen.
I should have never got it. I am a California. Hold on a minute. You hold on 1 minute.
No,
I am a California.
Hold on a minute. You keep a notepad. Put a notepad on.
Because it applies to what you're saying. I ain't talking about welfare, but that bailout we just got, I am a very well employed state California employee who is about to be furloughed for 2 days a month, but I make a very good salary. There was no reason whatsoever for the Republicans to pay me $1,200 because I did not need it. Even though I had been working from home, and they should have given it to the people who needed it. The people who got that money were middle-class people who did not need it. That's a travesty. And that's what I'm talking about. People getting money that they don't need, that they need to just go out, work hard, save your money, and stop taking that Jew's money. It's not without strings. All of it is attached to the devil. All of it.
Can I finish without being interrupted?
Yeah.
Heidi, you are an exception. You boomers are kind of like unicorns out here. Listen. Down here in Southern California, I have struggled to keep work since the last recession. Okay? We are down from 15% ADOS in Southern California to around 6 to 9%. I keep getting 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know. I'll look it up. But let's say conservatively, do a split between 6 and 9. Let's say we're 7%. Hispanics are 51% in Southern California. When we go out for job interviews, they are requiring, before we can even be interviewed, when you're looking up the jobs on Indeed, that you have to speak Spanish. What about my Gen X collective that has degrees and tons of experience and cannot get work? We can't get the 6-figure-a-year jobs that we once did. Those jobs go to white and Hispanic people, and not even Hispanics. They are a large part of the reason why the salaries are now suppressed in this marketplace. I've got friends, myself included. I had to work for Instacart when they laid me off on March the 16th due to the COVID. It took them 2 months to fix the system for me to even be able to apply for unemployment insurance. Wait a minute.
Absolutely.
It took them forever to even put the check into my account for the $1,700. And my private mortgage holder told me that they want a balloon payment. At the end of 3 months, when I've not been gainfully employed, I had to learn what it was like to be amongst many of my educated down here and get out here and do a gig job, because it was virtually impossible to find work no matter how many apps I ran through Indeed because of social distancing. You're not dealing with the reality. You're dealing with one reality only.
Nope. I'm dealing with the reality.
No, let me finish. Let me finish, Heidi. You can't tell me. Write your notes.
Go ahead.
You're dealing with your situation. You're looking at your condition. You're not understanding at all how 90% of us share 700 billion is not a lot of money as compared to 100 trillion. Right. You are more than likely giving your state salary in the top 10%, which only require 125,000 a year to be in the top 10%, while white folks have stolen all of our wealth. They've stolen it. So when we talk about reparations, we're talking about a way to close the egregious racial wealth gap. And how are they able to do this? It is through institutionalized systemic racism. And I believe both parties are complicit, okay? And I don't believe that we have the money, because let me help you understand something with the businesses. Lots of us now own small businesses. But do you know what they largely consist of? Sole proprietorships. Why is that? Because the banks never have any regulation when they get a bailout to lend to people that look like you and I. Okay, when the PP.
Okay, so what are you saying there? Back up.
Finish. I gotta finish.
Most of the reasons why we have sole proprietorships is for tax purposes, Angela.
Well, it's not just for tax purposes. It's not just for tax purposes. What? How else are they gonna feed their families? How else are they
your point about having a sole proprietorship?
Good jobs.
But what's your point about having to have a sole proprietorship?
I can't get to my point when you keep cutting me off. Okay. I love you, Black and Strong. I don't care. The rest of my audience is hot with you, but they don't understand how we used to run. They don't get that you and I bleed Berkeley, Oakland.
Right. They don't. It's not just about that. It's about they need to open their minds to another perspective. Because truly, really, the only way Black people are really moving into a more economically sane and politically active role in this country is if we do it on our own. Because every time
let me help you understand something. Let me help you understand something. Let me finish this thought. A lot of people are working gig jobs and are sole prop because they cannot find jobs. I'll share another story with you.
I'll share another story. You know, I did it from 2008 all the way to dang near 2017. I only started working for the state for 3 years. I worked 3 jobs, Angela, while I was raising my son, and I was partially homeschooling. So I don't want to hear that, because I was there during Obama's Great Recession. I did the same thing. 3 jobs, doing food demonstrations, beverage demonstrations, trying to work with you, doing selling the legal services. Anything people would give me, I would do it. Why? Because I wasn't about to be on welfare. I wasn't about to take that free money. And the only thing I want people to understand, I'm not judging anybody, but I want to instill some sense of pride, confidence, and ability in yourself to make a sacrifice, work a little harder. Most people don't have 1 job these days. It's okay to work 2 jobs. It's okay to work 3 jobs, but put that money away and build wealth. And once we do that as a community, we can start patronizing one another. We can start opening businesses. You know what? Black Panthers live or die, baby. That's the only way it happened. How do you think preschool got started? Black Panthers started that because Black parents couldn't afford daycare for their kids. So the community got and did that. That's what we have to go back to. We don't have a choice. We have to go back to the grassroots. That means making sacrifices. Period. We ain't ready for that. And that's what we ain't ready for.
Let me get my audience in, because you have got them hotter than fish grease. Because we believe you have a very limited understanding of what you are owed as an American descendant of chattel slavery. And that's unfortunate. And I pray that you tune in to ADOS 101.
Nobody owes me nothing. My family came here, worked hard, made a lot of money. Was one part of the Oklahoma land rush. 2 of my uncles died in that process. This is my country. They don't owe me anything. What I owe to them is that I will become a respectable, politically active, and teach my children to do the same, and lead my people to a better political representation than what we continue to lay on the Democrats.
Let me ask you.
It's time to get off of that.
Let me ask you a question. When you got your $1,200 stimulus, did you send it back to the government, or did you bless another family with it? Did you bless another family?
I gave it to the local science robotics school here in my neighborhood so that they could be able to buy a robotics kit so that they could participate in what white people only participate in, robotics competitions. And I tried to get my husband to give his $1,200 the same. But guess what? Everybody ain't able to make those kind of sacrifices in their heart yet, because Black folks are seriously stuck on stupid about getting free money and, oh, let's do this with it. No, do something that's going to help the community. And if you don't need it, don't use it. And that's my point, Angela. So many Black Americans who didn't need that money got it, when so many of us really do need it.
And so many
of us, how many of your viewers out there got that money and didn't need it? Ask them. How many of them? Put your hands up. You got that money and you didn't need it to pay rent. You didn't need it to buy groceries. Put your hand up. If you got that money and you bought yourself a new dress, put your hand up. If you got that money and you bought shoes, put your hand up. Because that's what happened to most of that money, Angela.
No, I disagree. If we share $700 billion and my mortgage company is telling me they want a balloon payment and I'm living paycheck to paycheck due to my wages being suppressed, half of what I used to earn, okay, and you're talking about years.
You needed it. You needed it.
I'm talking about, no, I'm not the only one who needed it. You're to think that the majority of us didn't need it. If 90% of us share $700 billion, everybody needed it, even if it was just to save it for another pandemic or something that would come up.
That would have been good. How many do you think did it? How many do you think?
I don't know. I know I saved it. I know I still have it.
And that's a good.
That's only because I'm a homeowner, and they're not going to foreclose on my property, even though they want to do.
Ask your viewers. Take a poll right now. How many of them saved that money, and how many of them spent it on something that they wanted?
Okay. White folks got it also. Okay, you heard her question, family.
White folks ain't my concern. White folks are not my concern.
Oh my God.
They can get the devil money. They are the devil.
Okay, listen.
They are not my concern.
Okay, guys, we have to respect all opinions, family. And this is a great exercise to help us understand this ADOS, why we can't get momentum behind the reparations. And so Heidi has done something very noble with hers that she didn't need. But I'm here to tell you.
My only point is, if you didn't need it, why did we get it? You want to know how much money was wasted? How much money could have been poured towards education or something else?
Okay, listen.
A lot of it.
Family, you guys need to understand both sides of this argument. So please, let's be schooled and learn. How do we reach someone like Heidi to sell them on reparations? We may never do that. There are a lot of people that believe just like her. So when we're wondering why we can't grow this movement, it's because of this frame of thought. You need to know this. I know it's ugly. Well, not ugly. It's a perspective. And I know it's hurtful to you. But we have got to grow thick skin and learn how do we come up with talking points to counter arguments like this. Because if it's not with her, it's going to be with quite a few just like her. So learn, family. Let's come up with something other than just losing our shit over it, okay? Okay, Joelle. Okay, Shauna says, stop generalizing ADOS folk. We ain't that. What in the hell are you talking about, says Joelle. Nathan says, written policy is different from a promise. Marcella says, that's our money. Do they have their knee on the Japanese neck after giving them reparations? Cat Legal says, okay, Cat Legal, welcome to the live. Data matters. ADOS deals with data. Oh, hell no, Angela from New Jack Reloaded. Where you find this lady?
Nah.
They want me to mute you? Do they have their knee on them false Jews' neck? That's not the collective ADOS. Trey has said boomers again. Joelle says, that's our money. Rita says, shaking my head. What the what? Shauna says, seriously. No, she didn't send it back. She did send it back, Antonia. But she did give it to a school, a science and robotics school. They're saying you're not making sense. You work for the white man's government.
I absolutely do. I absolutely do. Because you want to know what I learned when I was out of work for 12 years dang near? You want to know what I learned? Job security. Job security. And that's a huge sacrifice because state employment was a whole lot less money than I was making working for E-Trade Securities. But E-Trade Securities laid me off. And then I got laid off by the Sharper Image. And then 2 other layoffs. And I realized, okay, if a sister's going to get ahead, a sister's going to have to make a sacrifice. So I went from making about $90,000, almost $92,000 in that last year to $34,000 a year, which put me in bankruptcy. I lost almost everything, but I had to do it because I had to make a sacrifice for my child because I couldn't continue to try to work 3 jobs and raise my child. He was suffering. So like I'm saying, there's sacrifices we can make that can get us to a better state. But most Black people don't want to make those sacrifices. They don't want to do it until, and I'm not going to say it's a different generation, because I know my son rolls with a millennial generation who believes the same way I do. You don't take that free money. It's attached to things. You want to become prevalent in this society, in politics, or in social, whatever you want to do it on your own. Don't run behind the Democrats begging them to give you stuff. They haven't done anything for you for 50 years. What makes you think they're going to do this? It's silly. And you look silly doing it.
Okay, let me, I'm a union iron worker. Trust that the Latinx people try to take over the trades. She don't understand. Where are her ancestors from? You are American descendant of child.
The re-enslavement of the Black man is real. They bought all these Mexican immigrants to replace Black people, especially Black men. And we sat back and we let them. We kumbaya'd with all those illegal immigrants. Oh, those are our brothers. Oh, don't mess with them. They're here trying to get a living. They're here trying to get your living. And guess what? They got every bit of it. Our men can't even find jobs anymore because they done hired so many illegal Hispanic immigrant men to replace them. Our children can't get jobs at Jack in the Box because they got illegal immigrant adults working at Jack in the Box. And Black people have sat back and allowed that to happen because those are our brothers. We kumbaya. They can't help it. They trying to get up like us. Oh, they got over on us is what they did. And we let them. And we still letting them. And we still trying to beg for free money. Stop it. Stop it. Stand up. Take your rightful place in this world and make it happen as a community. Do something to stop the killing in your community. Do something to raise up the education in your community.
Heidi, we should have
talking about candidates to get reparations.
Heidi, we should have had a dress. We should have had a dress rehearsal. This is not me.
Bring something deeper than this because we got a whole generation of kids we need to make this world better for. And you running around talking about reparations. Come on. Come on, people.
Let me help you. It is for all the reasons you just listed why we need reparations to close the egregious racial wealth gap. And it is not free money. It is not welfare. All of the reasons you just listed is why we need those reparations that our ancestors died for. Every other group got their reparations. And we have demands for reparations for the very reasons you just listed. We are being replaced across industries, my dear. And we don't have time to be out here across industries.
We begging for people who are replacing us to pay us some money. They ain't gonna never do it because they don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit that you was a slave. The only thing they give a shit about is that you keep coming to them with your hand out, begging them for something. That's all they care about. Because as long as you're doing that, they're going to get that vote. Oh, they're going to get them vote. They're going to vote us. Don't worry, the niggas is going to put us back in office. They're going to help us beat Trump. Yeah, we are. We ain't gonna never beat Trump, number one, and our vote will be wasted again, and we still will not have sent them a message to sit on it and spend, because we ain't doing it no more until they start representing us. Now, if you guys don't want to do that, you want to keep running around begging for reparations, kissing their asses, you go right ahead. I ain't that kind of Negro. I never will be.
Okay, Heidi. I wanted to get to some of your other talking points. You said something about how that changed has awakened Jacob and how that awakening will affect the descendants of slaves. Do you want to touch on that?
So look, everything that we see happening right now is all meant to happen. First of all, after a pandemic, there's always an apocalyptic event. Now, this pandemic has been especially hard on us with 40 million unemployed, over 100,000 dead in 90 days. This riot that we see going on right now, this will be ongoing social unrest. Because what do we have? We have a whole, not just Black people, we have a whole lot of unemployed people with no benefits, no way to get money, no way to get food. They've been probably unemployed now 60 days. People are starting to show up on the street. I don't know what it's like where you are, but here in Sacramento, it's horrible. Under every freeway overpass, there are homeless people of all colors, all ages. Once that starts escalating to the point of, I got to feed my family and I'm going to do what I need to do it, we're going to see a lot of crime. We're going to see a lot of home invasions. This is the time. Our children are showing us the way. But if we don't pick up the ball from them and carry it forward politically off of the streets and into these congressional offices, if we don't do that, this moment will have been wasted. We have got to contact every Black politician that we know and every Democrat that we can reach and let them know, if you don't speak out against the police killing us right now, we will not support you going forward. And it cannot be a joke. And we cannot be afraid of what's going to happen if we don't vote. The vote ain't helped us in fucking 20 years. Ain't going to do nothing to us to miss one election. But it will definitely send a stern message to those sellout Democrats that if they are going to have our support, they are going to step up and they are going to represent Black people, or they will be fired and we will develop our own third-party candidates. And that's the only thing that's going to make this change. They are not going to pay you reparations in exchange for your vote because, like you said, we are too small of a group. They would rather save the money and give it to illegal Hispanics to educate their children. So you keep thinking you're going to use that reparations to hold over their head for a vote. You giving your vote away again, just like we've been doing.
Heidi, it's not just reparations. Like I said, we have formed a.
I understand that, Angela. They don't give a shit about none of that. They don't care.
Heidi,
do you want to know what the Democrat agenda is? To make sure they can get cheap workers in here so that they can save as much money for their states and their cities to be embezzled. That's their number one mission. How can we get work done here without having to pay more money than what we want to pay? You think the Republicans are bad with that? The Democrats are in bed with that. And that's what they're going to do to Black people. We will never get any decent paying jobs if we continue to support them. They are going to bring more Mexicans. They're going to give them legalization. They're going to allow them to vote. And then they're going to re-enslave us. Don't forget who enslaved us in the beginning. We was enslaved by the Portuguese. Don't forget that. That day is going to come back if we don't stand up right now in this moment in history and tell them, keep your goddamn money, but you're going to give me and you're going to give my children freedom and the right to live in this country without being afraid and without having to live in the conditions that we live in. Until we do it, you can keep betting on them Democrats that you just keep right on doing it. They selling you down the river every day. Every day. The Black and the white ones. We got to get to the Black ones and make them understand.
Heidi, I was trying to say before you cut me off, my love, We are not ready to replace Congress with American descendants of chattel slavery who are speaking full-chested. Let me finish, please. I, along with Marlon Aldridge and a very illustrious board, have formed the Friends of ADOS Super PAC to raise money for our officials on the local, state, and national levels. That is our answer. And it seems to me, when we stop screaming at each other, that we agree. We need
because I don't want no politician. I ain't gonna support no politician who's working for reparations. That's where you're wrong. We don't agree. You can raise that money for that politician. I'm not going to support that politician. And I'm not the only one that's not going to support that politician. Anybody who's like-minded like me, who doesn't believe in taking government handouts for shit, is not going to support those politicians.
Handout. It's a debt, Heidi.
It ain't no debt, Angela.
It is a debt. Do you understand that we were emancipated? Do you understand anything about the Reconstruction era and the 40 acres and a mule that were given to post-slavery?
Did you hear me say that my family was part of the Oklahoma land? Did you hear me say that I was born and raised in the 60s in Berkeley during the Civil Rights Movement? My sister was a Black Panther. My father's family are Black Muslims. Yes, I understand. And it's because of my Black Panther upbringing, and it's because of the Black Muslim upbringing that I'm telling you, don't take that free money from them Jews.
It's not.
That's the devil's money. It's done nothing to destroy our culture.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish.
They don't owe us nothing. You know what they owe us? You know what they owe us? Stop killing our sons. That's what they owe us. Stop killing our sons. Stop imprisoning our children. Stop discriminating against us in the job market. Educate us equally. That's what they owe us. That's what they owe us.
Okay, let me finish saying what I was saying before you cut me off. During Reconstruction, when Abe Lincoln granted us 40 acres and a mule, he was assassinated. Johnson rolled that back and gave us Freedmen's Bureau Bank. And white folks was left to charge of it. And they stole all of the money that the blacks had poured into that. And we go, huh?
Do you think they owe you for that?
Absolutely. Yes, they owe me for that. Because you have to see the institutional systemic racism that's been in place to rob and deny and put us on the bottom as the legs of the table.
Allow that institutionalism to stay in place. It's in your head. It's a mentality, girl. Stop.
Oh my God.
That's a trap in your head. Throw that out. They want you to believe you've been institutionalized. Panthers never believed in institutionalized.
How can you say that it was okay to free us from slavery and not give us what we were due to make a life? And when we did, we had 150 years of Jim Crow. How is any of that okay? The lynchings, the burning down.
Ain't nobody said it was okay. Ain't nobody said it was okay. Nobody said that. I didn't say it was okay.
I'm speaking to you.
For that.
I don't get how
nobody owe you
for that. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I'll stand on that. Let me go back to you.
We're going to agree to disagree.
Okay.
Because they don't know us. They don't know us shit.
Wow.
It's that mentality that has allowed us. It's that mentality that is what has allowed them to keep that on our neck. You need to let go of that mentality. Set yourself free. Set yourself free, Angela. Because holding on to that is going to keep you enslaved forever. Set yourself free. They cannot set you free. You got chains in your brain. You have yourself free. Your brain.
I'm a homeowner. How does that work?
Angela.
How?
Set yourself free.
Because what you're suggesting is I haven't been my own solution. What you're suggesting is I haven't been my own solution.
Look,
And what you're suggesting is that black folks aren't out here. Like you sit up, you sound white right now, Heidi. I hate to tell you.
You know what? You know what?
Like sitting up, eating bonbons, and that nothing has been designed.
I'm going to tell you this. In regard to having change in my head and feeling victimized and feeling like I'm systemized and all that crap, I think like a white person.
None of that has to do with the reparations thing. What do you think we've been doing for 400 plus years? Pulling ourselves up by our bootless straps and making stuff happen.
That's why it's about to be the awakening of Jacob. We have served our 400 years
on some level.
Judah is now free
for the internet that they're tapping on right now. Let's not conflate the two. Reparations have nothing to do with going somewhere, relying on welfare. That's
not what I'm saying. You're saying that. You're putting words in my mouth. You are putting words in my mouth. I have not compared it to welfare. I never compared it to welfare.
These are not those people.
I never compared it to welfare. I never compared it to welfare.
It's systemic, crude, ongoing racism, disadvantage, period. And it doesn't mean that we can go somewhere and claim welfare. I don't know not one of them on welfare. Not a one. They're in this fight. They're at the meetings. And so please don't conflate the two. They've got nothing to do with each other. Yes, my love.
I never compared it to welfare. It is surely not welfare. I never compared it to welfare. But I am saying to you, they don't owe it. It would be free money that, look, sins of thy father, I don't believe in that the son has to pay the sins of the father, Angela. That's the whole philosophy you're using here, that the son is guilty for the father. I will not believe that, because that's changing your own head. That's
okay, I disagree.
You really believe that the sins of the father should be paid by the son.
Didn't you reference Jacob from the Bible?
Absolutely.
So then you must.
That's not what that's not what that's about. That's about black people being punished for 400 years for not obeying the word of God. And at the end of 400 years, it will be our time to rise to glory. It is that time. But unless we stand up and take it on our own without the help of Jews, white people,
the reparations that is old.
Okay.
Let me go to your next statement. I want to make sure I get your talking place. Hold on. How that change has awakened Jacob. Okay. What we need to do now to capitalize on the hard work put in by our little brothers and sisters who have made themselves heard across the country. You want to tackle that one?
That's right. So what do? What are we going to do to support them? What are we going to do? We're going to ask for reparations to support them putting their lives on the line. We're going to ask for reparations. That's what we're going to do to help them.
So what do you suggest?
It's going to take something more drastic. We have to tell the Democrats, either you're going to listen to these children and you're going to listen to us and you're going to provide a better way of life real quick, or you ain't going to get our vote in November. And we got 6 months to do it. And it's enough time. We are all on social network. We can tweet to the president today. Black people are not going to participate in this election. Everybody tweeted to Biden right now and see what happens. You've seen the way that idiot been fumbling over his words about how he wanted to court us. And every time he opened his damn mouth, he sounded like a damn racist. And that's because in his heart, he probably really is. Okay? So why would you give him your vote? Even if we're not ready to take over ourselves, why would we continue to support that shit? Because we have a slave mentality. That's why. We're going to continue to look for the slave master to protect us. We're afraid to turn our back on the slave master and move out because what? We're going to have to come back to the slave master. That's bullshit. Time to drop that shit. Stand up, be black, stop begging Jew-like people for money. I got to go. I'm sorry.
You have to go.
I do. It's almost 5:30. I have to go at 5:30.
Okay, one more question. Okay, first of all, so you're saying scrap Democratic down ballot and just don't show up to the polls? Well, how do we vote for our local?
Tell them they have 6 months. Start a Twitter campaign. You guys got 6 months to this election. Either you're going to stand up right now, you're going to make sure all 3 of those officers get arrested, you're going to make sure that all 4 of those people get justly what they deserve, or we are not going to the polls, period, for anybody.
Can you send me your agenda so I can list it with this show so folks can see what demands you're intending to make?
You are not putting my agenda on there with reparations. Hell no.
No. I'm not. No, they don't even want that. I'm asking. Okay, so tell us right now, what would you demand of them in exchange for your vote for the Democrat? What would you demand, and how do you guarantee they'll deliver?
Just to start the National Black Caucus, all of them have to have a press conference to address this Black murder. All of them. That's number one. Because all of them is a bunch of fucking sellouts. Now, one of them had the courage to come and speak in our behalf. Now, one of them said, I think I saw, I can't even remember who it was, maybe one. That's a travesty. Those people have got big mouths. They like to talk a lot about Donald Trump, but they don't have nothing to say about this Black man being killed. And now they're going to pull the same thing they've been pulling, which is, we're going to give him a 3rd-degree murder charge, which we can bump down to a walking citation. Because that's what's going to happen. He's going to get off. And the other 3 are not going to get nothing. And we're going to be right back where we were. But right now, we're 6 months from the election, and we can really take a political stand here and force them to do something.
Okay, what else would you demand of them besides that? In addition to
we have a whole agenda. We need more money for education. We need them to pay less attention to illegal immigrants and more attention to Black children. We need to be able, if possible, to educate our own children. Because the education they're getting in these white schools is nothing but you ain't worth a dime. Go sit outside in the hall because you're a distraction. Oh, you didn't do your homework. Okay, just sit in the back quietly. That's the only education they're getting, especially our sons. So all this we trying to hold on to. Don't hold on to none of it. Tell them, we want you to sit at the table with us and discuss with us what we want, and let's hash it out. And you better do it before the election. Because if you don't come with us a reasonable Black agenda by September, we are not going to roll with you this time. I promise you. If we start a Twitter campaign right now, there's going to be a fire under their asses because Nancy Pelosi already can see. She can already see Donald Trump going to be in that seat again. And if she don't have us, she don't have a chance in hell. And she knows it. They all know it. If they don't have the Black vote, they are done.
How will you give Blacks their jobs? Are you going to demand some type of federal jobs guarantee program?
I'm going to give Black people jobs. Who's giving us jobs right now? Who is giving us jobs right now, Angela?
No one.
Nobody. Absolutely.
So would that be a part of your demands? Would that be a part of your demands?
Look, part of my demand is this. Yes, job training. But they ain't going to give it to us. Do you understand that? They ain't going to give it to us.
Don't even try.
Yes, try. Yes, try. But we're going to sit at the table.
What about health care?
Agenda. We ain't gonna send them no agenda with a whole bunch of glorified stuff. We want reparations. We want this. We want this. No, what we want is representation, because that's what we don't have right now. We don't have any representation. We ain't gonna get reparations or anything else without that. And the only way we're gonna get some of these politicians to decide, okay, I'm gonna run with the Black people, is if we promise not to vote for them. Because right now they know we sold out. We are sold and bought. Those of us who vote, we don't even think about it. We already did our early ballot for the Democrats. So we have to boycott this vote, because more of the same is just more of the same. And you ain't gonna get
so you're okay with 4 more years of Trump. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm already hurt. What's he gonna do? What can he do any more than what he's already done? He's not helping us. He's not really hurting us. The Democrats have hurt us more than he has. So what? What's the point? What's the point of wasting your vote again for the more of the same instead of sending those people a strong message letting them know I ain't voting for you no more? I'd rather go with no representation than your sellout, slave master bullshit representation you've been giving us. They're the reason why our sons keep getting killed. The Democrats, because they brainwashed us. Turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek. Our children ain't doing that shit no more. They ain't turning the other cheek no more. They going to battle with the cops. And the adults are willing to just sit back and go, oh, yeah, okay. We're going to ask for reparations. That's out here. We need to ask for something right the fuck here in front of them. You want my vote? You better make sure those 3 get arrested. And you better make sure that other one gets more than a 3rd-degree murder charge.
We are asking for more than just reparations. Concerned Black American Citizens has a COVID-19 stimulus relief demand of the Republican Party. We would greatly appreciate you signing on that petition to get a response from the White House. It is addressed directly to President Trump, and I will post it in this feed after the show. So I don't, well, actually I can do it now. Heidi, wait, let me ask you this last thing and then you can close out. Are you planning to go to the polls this general, or you're sitting it out completely? You're not even voting for your state or anything. You're not even voting for Congress?
Here's the thing. Local elections are very, very important. The only way we can change the federal government is through local elections. We have to elect people who are going to represent us. And we have to continue to support those people through the political chain to get them to these higher positions. Unless we do that, we're going to continue to get the same politicians. And if we continue to get people who want to support reparations, we ain't going to never get nowhere, because you will never get enough support for that. So my closing is this. I will be voting on my local initiatives, my city officials, my state officials, because Gavin Newsom is another one who's bent out of replacing Black people with illegal immigrants.
Yes, he is.
That's his number one agenda. And he will not see the light of day if I have anything to do with that. But as far as the feds, those Democrats, Nancy Pelosi and her crew, they need to understand you have lost Black support. We are done with you. And unless you do something right now in this historical moment, you got one chance to show us. You got one chance to show us that we are valued to you. That is, get this man in jail and get those other 3, whatever it is they deserve, and quit bullshitting with us about our sons' lives.
Well,
take a chance, people. Take a chance. The Panthers would tell you, the Black Muslims would tell you, be self-sufficient. Don't be afraid. Stand on your own. Stop leaning on white people. Stop leaning on Democrats, Black people who are really white. They're not working for your advantage. They're against you. The only thing they care about is getting cash and bettering themselves and people who are attached to them. They could give a damn about you. And neither could the Republicans. Don't vote for anybody. Send them a strong message. Black votes are valuable because we are the breaking point. Nobody can win without our vote. They tried to make all those illegals legal, by the way, so they wouldn't need us. But Trump stopped them from doing that, thank God. Because had Trump allowed them to make all those illegals legal, they wouldn't have needed our vote. And you wait and see what happens when they don't need our vote. Look, in 8 years, they get the right Democrat in there. They get enough illegal immigrants legal, and they won't need our vote. They will not need it. So we better use it right now before it don't mean nothing. And that's what's going to happen, because they are going to get enough Hispanics in here to get them in the office every single time.
Well, let me help you. Let me help you.
You want to talk about getting paid reparations for the last slavery? We're about to be re-enslaved. You better think about how you're going to get reparations for this time around. Because they let those Mexicans get in there and get control. And in California, you know, Angela, you know that's about to happen in California.
It already is. Let me say this in closing, Heidi. I think after all this yelling and screaming that we're finally on the same page. We have said down ballot strategy. And you're saying the same thing. Go and vote for the most progressive people that are running for office and for your local politics, get there during the general and definitely show up to do that much. But I think we see eye to eye. The ADOS movement is about the Democratic down ballot strategy. They're writing in ADOS for the president and for the vice president for the very reasons, many of which you echoed here today. I'm going to find that link for you guys to sign the White House petition because, yes, we know reparations is a long way off, but we firmly believe and visit friendsofADOS.com that once we get the right representation on the local, state, and national levels, which we have to do in a New York minute, because to Heidi's point, this will be the last election cycle that our votes will make a real difference, or any protest votes will make a difference. Let me help you understand. We are 12% of the population. Hispanics are 11%. And they are voting, last election cycle, around 65% are now voting Democrat over Republican, because the Democrats are willing to open up the borders, give them DACA, give them everything, give them all this access. Okay?
And they're going to make 10 million legal. They're going to make 10 million. The next time they get into office, they will make 10 to 12 million illegal immigrants legal so that they can vote. And that will be it.
Because Hillary Clinton has already said in a tweet, and let me read it before I let you go, Heidi. I know you have to leave. It's 2 minutes over, but if you could bear with me, I need to read some important stats to the audience that can cinch this down ballot strategy. Hold on. Just give me a sec. It's in my gallery. Hold on. I want to let you know what Hillary just said in the Twitter feed in case you missed it. Give me a second. And then I want to read you how the vote went down last election cycle. I'm sorry, just bear with me, family. Bear with me. Okay. Well, just let me go to this because it's so hard to find and I don't want to hold up the show. Okay. This is how the population numbers break down, and then I want to tell you how people voted last election cycle. And we got Trump. White men comprise 34% of the population, white women 36%, Black men 5%. And at the rate they're murdering us,
and putting us in jail.
Black women 7%, Latino men 5%, Latino women are 1% behind us at 6%. Hold on one second. Okay, others are 6%. Okay, white men voted for Clinton 31%, for Trump 63%, and 6% were no answer or other. White women voted 43% for Clinton, 52% for Trump, and 5% other or no answer. So your white women who swore they would vote for Hillary voted for Trump.
Because of their husbands. White women vote with their husbands.
You're right. Black men voted 80% for Clinton. 80%. While 13% voted for Trump, 7% were other or no answer. Black women, 93% of Black women voted for Clinton, 4% voted for Trump, and 3% were other or no answer. Listen to this. Latino men voted for Clinton, 62%, Trump, 33%, other or no answer, 5%, and their women voted for Clinton, 68%, 26% for Trump, 6% for other or no answer. And now the remaining others, 61% of everybody else voted Clinton, 32% voted Trump, and 7% voted other or no answer. So in effect, white people put Trump into office. And Hillary,
the electorate put Trump into office.
Huh?
The electorate put Trump into office.
Well, not without the fact that the electorate did, but she didn't go and campaign in key states, and she lost in those states because she like Biden right now took advantage of those votes and took them for granted. Okay, so do know that we are being replaced. Right. This is the last time to really come together and coalesce around a protest, or you can kiss 2022 and 2024 goodbye. Because the Democrats are pivoting. I couldn't find Clinton's thing, but she basically said, who needs the black vote? We've got the Latinos.
Exactly. And they're
working on rolling with. That's what they are doing. So you guys can sit up here and not have a strategy to just throw this whole thing and really not matter, because let me help you. If we don't do this in large enough numbers, the mission fails. We will not get this opportunity again. That's how high the stakes are, to Heidi's point. So in the end, we found some common ground. I love y'all black. I love you strong, Heidi. And I thank you for being on the show and allowing yourself to be the whipping horse, but they needed to hear what you had to say, because
you know what? I want you, every one of you, open your minds. Open your minds. I know you think you're owed that money, but the sins of the father are not to be paid by the son. And that's, if you get that money, it's not going to give you any goodwill. Find another way. But right now, use your vote for your children, because asking for reparations, that's way off. Like she said, our children need help today. We need something today, right now. So don't mess up demands by muddling it up with stuff that's just going to make them close their ears. Because as soon as they hear that R word, they ain't going to even read the rest of the dang demands. So, play the smart. Be smart. Be smart as they are.
And I want to close with, we do both and. Continue, family, to pull yourselves up by your bootless straps. We wouldn't have been here for 400 plus years had we not been already doing that, and still demand your reparations. We are over here like a silent drum beat. We are owed. It is a debt for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives, and our ancestors demand that we have it to close this egregious racial wealth gap. That's our square. We will continue to stay on it, and eventually we will have enough people in Congress to do what we need to get done with this reparations is concerned, family. Continue to lean in and continue to take care of yourselves. And with that said, I want to pray us out that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever ADOS and its allies are, God truly is, because you are the face of God. You are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. Until next time, family, you make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your evening and work week. I love you, black. I love you, strong. Hold the frame, Heidi. We're out.
All right.
I love you so much. Hold on.
Okay. I got to get my glasses on.